Folks, do you remember that 1994 wannabe comedy Junior starring Arnold Schwarzenegger? It was about the world's first pregnant man, but what was once fodder for jokes almost 30 years ago is now becoming reality today. Yeah, apparently transhumanoids want to have babies. And thanks to a heaping helping of weird science, it looks as though their wishes shall be granted in the near future. Holy Frankenstein. Mama! Mama! And joining me now with more on this story is Natasha Biase. Welcome to Rebel Roundup, Natasha.
Thank you for having me.
You know, that piece you did with Kat, it comes across as comedy, but there's an underlying layer to it which I find disturbing. I should mention, I think 1994 was the year you were born.
It was.
And I know the idea back then was Arnold Schwarzenegger, top action star in the world. If we, guys will buy a ticket just seeing his name on the poster. If we can get just half of the female audience to buy tickets, then this will be the biggest box office movie of all time. Well, the studio outsmarted itself. It was a critical failure and it was a box office failure because nobody in the 90s thought this was a good idea, a man about to give birth. What is going on right now?
Yeah, it's funny. I guess the world didn't learn from that movie's mistakes, hey? Yeah, it's wild. I mean, to me, what's most controversial about it is the fact that science and the medical industry is just really trying to actually erase women. Like, that's what this is, because if this Indian doctor is successful in transplanting a womb inside a biological male, then what is the use for women?
You know, I think there's some perverse irony that this Indian doctor is indeed a doctor in India. I'm being repetitive there because last I looked, I don't think India was having a problem with its population. So here's an operation procedure that gives people that normally wouldn't have a baby the opportunity to have a baby in what is one of the most populous nations on earth. I don't get that.
No, me either. And it's like, we were kind of chatting about this earlier, but it's like, aren't there other things that we should be focusing on in the medical industry? You know, maybe healing people would be nice. I mean, there's many diseases that have yet to be cured.
Yes.
You know?
And what is the cost of this operation, Natasha?
Yeah, it was, they haven't successfully performed this operation before. So this is experimental. They did it back in the 30s, I think it was. And I don't know if your audience is familiar with the movie The Danish Girl. That was the first person to ever have this surgery performed on them. And I think it costs like tens of thousands of dollars. Plus you have to do IVF on top of that because you have to fertilize outside of the body and then implant it inside this biological male.
Well, it seems like a whole lot of trouble and a whole lot of money. Here's where I stand when it comes to transgenderism, Natasha. Look, if you want to slice and dice your genitalia, if you want to take hormones, if you want to dress in the clothes of the opposite sex, you know, knock your boots out. We're all about freedom.
Yeah.
But, you know, as Bill Maher said the other week, not everything is about you being the trans community. You see them out there with the abortion protests, yet they can't deliver babies. So I don't know why they're there. And now we have this. It's all about pregnancy. I just, if you want to live your life as a trans person, and you're not one of these people such as Leah Thomas, who is destroying NCAA swimming for biological females. I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with this kind of intrusion that's going on. What are your thoughts? No,
absolutely. And just kind of going back on the protesters and stuff, Bill Maher saying, you know, it's not about you. It's true. There's such an authoritarian aspect to all of this where I have to bend my morals and my values to appease you and to appease the less than 1% of the population. True. You know, truthfully, it's not like this is the majority of people are struggling with gender confusion, or they weren't up until, you know, there was this weird agenda. I guess there's been a weird agenda, rather, to push it on people, specifically children.
Hey folks, that was an excerpt from my show, Rebel Roundup. Now, to get the full meal deal, why not go to Rebel News Plus, sign up, and never miss a Rebel News Plus show in the future.